Today, I'm giving you a quick little update on everything that I've been working on. So grab a cup of something and let's dive in. Hey there, fiber friends. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. I'm the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company, and I'm so thankful that you're joining me today. It has just been 1 week, and so I thought I'd give you a quick little update of what I've been knitting. I've had a lot of time to knit and just chat about what I'm watching, what I'm reading, that sort of thing. So, to start off, I do have one finished object. Last week, I shared with you that I had finished my first sock of my Say You'll Remember Me colorway from Frogget Yarns. This was their September book club pick, and this was the yarn that was inspiration for the book cover. I did finish that first sock, and then I have since finished the second sock. So as you can see, last week I was about here, and so I did finish the leg, work through the heel, and finish the toe of the sock. For anyone that's new here, my vanilla sock pattern, I just kind of go from my head. I've been knitting socks long enough that I can do that. I cast 64 stitches on a 9-inch US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. I do 1 inch of 2x2 ribbing, and then from the top of the cuff down to where I want to turn my heel, I do 7 inches. And then I do a traditional heel flap and gusset. I turn my heel, and then from here to where I want to start decreasing for my toes, for my size foot, I knit 7¼ inches, and then I decrease for my toe. I did weave in all of my ends. Last week, I think I shared with you that I had so many things that had piled up that needed ends woven in. So I was very diligent that as soon as I finished these socks, I went ahead and I wove in all the ends, because with changing the color for the heels, toes, and cuffs, it is roughly about 10 ends per sock. So that's 20 ends for a pair of socks. This was the Progress Keeper I ordered it separately, but it also was with that September book club. It's made by Kelsey of the Littlest Charm Co. And that has been my adorable little Progress Keeper. And so that is all that I have finished. Since that's the only finished object I have a few works in progress that I want to share with you. A couple of them are new. So the first one is not new, though. It is the Nightlight Shawl by Andrea Mowry. This is one that I restarted the week before last, so that I could use it for Pigskin Party, but also I was sick. I didn't really know where the heck I was, so I restarted it, and then I made a fair amount of progress on it. And it is my Nightlight Shawl. As you can see, I have made a ton of progress. This is where I was the last time I saw you. This is my little honeycomb narwhal. That is from Charmed and Dangerous. So I have actually finished all the repeats for increasing. So before blocking, this is how deep it will be. And so it'll probably give quite a bit during the blocking. And so now I need to start my decreases. So I'm really excited about this. I was starting to peter out on it again. But for the last several nights. I've logged in with my knitting friends through the Love and Stitches membership with Nitty Natty, and just through social knitting, I have been able to keep up with this, and I was so excited the other night that I hit the end of my increases. So now I'm at the halfway mark. It's just decreasing from there. The two colors I'm using is Silver Lining in my Calvert DK. This is a pretty dark charcoaly gray. And then the pink is Petal Power on my Calvert DK. As you can see, I say this all the time, this colorway looks really harsh in the skein, but it always looks so amazing on it up. So I'm really excited to get this as a sample piece on my mobile yarn truck because it is just stunning. I am using a US 6, which is a 4mm needle, which I believe is what the pattern calls for. It should end up using almost 2 skeins of each colorway. So again, I'm at that halfway point. I'm hoping to make more progress on it tonight. Then the next pattern that I'm working on is also by Andrea Mowry, and I got suckered into this one pretty quickly. It is the Jaunty Shawl, which I believe she released last week, and I did a fairly good job of kind of ignoring all the buzz through her Instagram and emails and stuff, and then at the last minute I just decided I wanted one. And it's written in so many different ways. Like, you can use fingering, you can use sport, you can use DK, you can use worsted, you can use Aran. Like, there's so many options with this. It was really hard to not do it. And so for me, I had a few skeins left over of the Tortured Poets department colorway. This was a colorway that was in my Taylor Swift Advent last year that was all themed around her Tortured Poets Department album. And so I had enough skeins that I could use this colorway. And it's got, a fair amount going on, but to me, this mauve-y and grays with the flecks of colors is really rather neutral looking. So I did indeed cast on. It is a 4-row repeat, y'all. It's so beautiful. I'm loving the way that it is coming out. I love the colors in this, the mauve, the grayish, there's gold specks, there's burgundy specks, there's blue specks. Like, it's just so beautiful. So I am super excited about this. This is one night of work. Now, granted, I was probably online with my knitting friends, socializing for a couple of hours, but I got this much done. Now, obviously, as just like the other shawl, as it gets wider, I won't get as many inches done because you start out here and you're slowly widening. So this one is knit on a US 5, which is a 3.75 needle. It is super squishy. I think this one's going to block beautifully. It also makes it a little bit more airier, not quite as dense with that half fisherman's rib. If you are intimidated by the idea of doing a half fisherman's rib, don't be. It's super easy. She's got great tutorials for it. I wouldn't hesitate to start this. And for the DK, I think it's going to take Well, she kind of walks you through how to calculate using all of your yarn. So I've got 3 skeins, and I'll be able to use all 3 skeins of it. That brings me into my next whip. And so some of you who have been with me for a few months know that I am trying to work down my whips in regards to socks. As a dyer, I have a fair amount of socks where I've done one and used it as a display, and I've never gone back to do the second sock. Or I started a sock in my early years of dyeing when I didn't necessarily have a lot of time to knit, and I would start the sock for, social media photographs, but then I'd never finish the sock, let alone get to the second one. So I am trying to slowly work my way through all of that. And one of the things that I had in my sock basket, I had a little basket with socks, a couple socks in it where one is done. I don't need the sample anymore. It's time to go ahead and do the other one. So the first one is Till There Was You. This was a sock set that I based on the book by the same name. And so this sock has been done for a while. There might be one sock set left on the website in this. Actually, I don't think there's any more of these left. So I needed to start the second sock, which I did on Monday. I've had a few doctor's appointments this week, so I grabbed a spare needle, I grabbed the yarn, and I started the second sock. And I had some kind of appointment on Monday. So I started my cuff there, and then Tuesday, I had another doctor's appointment where I had a fair amount of a wait ahead of time. It was the first time I'd been there. They tell you to get there I think they had me there a half hour early for paperwork and stuff, but I did all that online. So I had a half hour to knit. And then, Monday I went to the dentist. That's where it was. So I had gone to the dentist. I went to a neurology appointment on Tuesday. And then yesterday I had an allergy shot appointment, which after I get my injections, I have to sit there for 20 minutes just to ensure that there's no kind of reaction that's not expected. So I've gotten a fair amount of knitting in doctor's offices done lately. And then this morning, I think I got about an inch done while I was drinking my coffee and watching something on the television. So I'm really impressed with the amount of progress that I've made just in waiting in places. So I anticipate this being done, or at least next week having turned the heel and maybe being on the foot. I am focused on my shawl projects, so I'm not sure how much sock knitting I'm going to get done. And so that is all I have for whips. But let's talk about upcoming projects, because I've got a few projects that I'm really excited about. So the first one is I am a member of Knitting Natty's Love and Stitches membership, and I want to say one of our challenges for the month of October has to do with team sports. I think it's team sports. And so I have been anxiously, I can say that word, awaiting, because I want to cast on my Raven sock set. So we are now officially in October. I can go ahead and cast this on. I couldn't cast this on at the beginning of the week and start because we were still in the tail end of September, which is why I cast on that other sock set. So my Raven sock set, I'm excited to get these cast on, and I want to do them in the same style as what I did my Orioles colorway Now, these I accidentally did on a US 1.5, so they're a little too big, so I only wear them as house socks. Unfortunately, I can't wear them out. But this is how I stripe them, and I want to do my Raven socks just like these. So I have pulled these out so I can follow this striping sequence. So I anticipate getting these on the needles shortly. When I was looking around, I did find another pair of socks that I just desperately need to get off the needle. And that is, these are the Cozy Knitter. It's the 2024 Advent sock. So I actually did my legs. I work my Advent socks in tandem. So I have these. All I need to do is do the heels and the feet. So I think it would just make sense before Christmas gets here to go ahead and knock these out. Just get them off the needles. So I'm hoping to finish those up. And then I am playing along with Boston Jen's Pigskin Party over on Ravelry. If you're not familiar, it's a competition where you sign up, you're placed on a team, and each team is competing against the others for imaginary internet points. Lots of my friends do it. I'm a Pro Shop sponsor. It's loads of fun, especially with my friends that I knit with over on the 11 Stitches membership. It's just a really good time. And so one of the challenges for October, because Knitty Natty is the sponsor for October, is to knit something using 200 yards that is 90% pink. Now, I knit with a lot of pink, but I don't normally do anything that is 90%. And though my jaunty shawl is technically pink, it's kind of a mauvey pink, so I don't really know if it counts. And it basically says if you have to ask if it counts, then it doesn't count. So I did do a little bit of stash diving with what I had here, and I did find a skein of Ruby and Rose's sock yarn. It's their Plump Rose base, which is 8515 superwash merino, and it is the color Homebody. This is definitely pink. I've had it in my stash for who knows how long, probably a couple of years now. So I think winding this up and making a pair of socks is probably the way that I'm going to go with this. So it sounds like I'm going to have a lot of socks on the needles because we'll have ravens, we'll have these little pancake house ones, Advent ones, and pink ones. That doesn't include my Halloween Advent socks that I have for my Halloween countdown, weekly countdown based on the Vampire Knitting Club books. That kicks off on Sunday. Those, though, I can say I set aside a DK weight set for me, so those won't be quite as tiny, but lots of socks going on. And so that's pretty much all my plans knitting-wise. So let's talk about all the things that I've been watching, because if you are subscribed to my newsletter, which if you're not, you're missing out on a really good time. Every Tuesday, I send out an email called my Tuesday Tidbits, and essentially I just tell you what am I reading, what am I listening to, what am I watching, what am I knitting, and anything that might be happening over on my website. So it's a quick and easy way that I can share things that I'm loving with my email subscribers. So I'll put a link for that down in the description box. But if you subscribe to that newsletter, you know that I've not been watching a heck of a lot of television. I just kind of lost interest in a lot of the things that I enjoy watching. I have been a huge fan of um, Bravo shows, particularly the Real Housewives franchise. And for the last, I'd say, like 6 months, that has really fizzled for me. I have not been really interested in much of anything over on Bravo because I can't handle the chaos and the drama, because life right now in the United States feels really chaotic and dramatic. So, um, this week though, the morning show on Apple TV has returned for its third season. It stars Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. It follows essentially the morning show at a news station. They do tend to kind of follow our typical news cycle of what's happening here in the United States. It Though it is obviously usually 6-9 months in the past because of the way that they film, but it has been really interesting. We're on I just finished episode 3 earlier today, and it was amazing. A lot of heavy storylines, lots of plot twists. So I'm pretty excited about that. I do really enjoy that show. Um, and then I had gotten behind on Outlander, the Blood of My Blood series, where it's like the prequel to Outlander. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That first episode, I wasn't sure if I was going to, but now I am deeply entrenched. I think we have just one more episode. It might be two, but I think it's only one more episode. But I was a few episodes behind. I've gotten caught up. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that, and I will be sad to see it go. And then over the weekend, I did watch a movie on Apple TV called All of You, and it starred Brett Goldstein, which he is the actor who played Roy Kent in Ted Lasso. And I adored that character on that show. And his portrayal of his character in this movie, All of You, was entirely on the other end of the spectrum. So it was really interesting to see him play someone so drastically different. But I will say I hated the ending of this movie. I felt like the relationship between him and the female main character was actually pretty toxic, though romantic. And I hated the ending. So if you have Apple TV, you're interested in a movie that you might not like the ending, I would watch it again probably. It definitely has a different kind of pace because it is set in the UK, but enjoyable nonetheless. Um, as for what I'm reading, I am still reading the Season of the Witch by Sophie Morgan. I've been going to bed later, so I'm not staying up as late, and so I'm falling asleep really quickly. I am so close to being finished this book, which is good because I just have a few more days before I have to write a review for it. And then this morning I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And so if you watched my video from last week about the books that I am anticipating coming out this month, the sequel to this book, Mate, is coming out, and I'm super excited for it. I wasn't sure that I was going to get Bride in time from the library before Mate came out, but I did, and I loved it. It is very much a departure from what Ali Hazelwood usually writes. She is very well known for writing romance novels that revolve around the world of STEM. This is a paranormal romance. So while the sex scenes were somewhat spicy like she typically writes, I still thought it wasn't quite as spicy as what she normally writes. So if you're not sure whether you'd like that book, I say give it a go. I really enjoyed it, but I will admit that I do tend to like paranormal novels. Shop updates. You may have seen that I put out a video on Tuesday this week, right after my anticipated books for October video, and it was about the Retreat Tea by Tif Neilan. I have been asked to put together kits or for retreat attendees who this tea is the theme, that's their knit along project. And so instead of putting together kits when there's so many different options with that tea, I put together a video and decided to just put it up on my YouTube channel so attendees could watch it, get ideas. But maybe there's some of you who have an interest in knitting that tea. I love mine. I'm probably going to make another one. So it's out there for your viewing pleasure if you're interested in that. Raven sock sets, like I shared earlier. Oh, I happen to have one. Raven sock sets are on the shop website. You can order yours, the Raven's Flock, and you too can knit yourself a pair of team socks. My friend Tasha over at Frogget Yarns, she actually did a hat, I believe, for her son-in-law, or I think it was her new son-in-law that she did a hat for, and she used that sock set. She held it double for a DK weight, and she gifted him a Ravens hat last year. So that's even an idea if you're interested, but you don't want to make socks. And then if you're not playing along with Pigskin Party, the exclusive color for Rising Tide as the pro shop sponsor is Gridiron Goddess. This is the colorway that I created for Pigskin Party this year. Since I've sponsored it a lot. I won't say every year, but I do sponsor it quite often. And so this is a gorgeous, minty greenish blue, and it's got lots of pinks, golds, navies, greens. It's got a lot going on. It is on a dyed to order basis, though I do have some that are ready to ship. Just so I have some on hand, but you can get it on a sock base, a sport base, a DK base, a worsted base, and then you can order any number of skeins to make whatever project it is that you are wanting. Even if I don't have it in stock, my turnaround time is 1-2 weeks tops. But again, I have a lot on hand. And that pretty much is everything to get you all caught up with where I am. I would love to know, because as you can see, I've been trying to get things off the needle, like with the Advent socks. What are you trying to get off the needle? I know some of you have started holiday knitting, so that might be what you're trying to get off the needles. Or maybe you're like me and you just have a ton of whips hanging around. What are you trying to get off those needles? And the emoji of the day is, if you don't have a comment for me, but you've made it all the way to the end, go ahead and give me some kind of leaf emoji so I know that you made it through to the end. So until next time, friends, happy knitting.